It's possibly one of the worst kept secrets in the industry, but Ford has finally announced that the Edge is coming to Australia and it's set to replace the Territory. We've come to the US to see whether it stacks up as a good replacement for the Territory that we know and love. If you're wanting a Territory replacement, this needs to stack up from this point backwards. If it doesn't, it really isn't a proper Territory replacement. And I've got some good news, it absolutely does. For reference, this seat is almost all the way back and I have a heap of toe room, plenty of knee room, and also decent headroom as well. Over here we've got center armrest with 2 cup holders, and in terms of passenger comfort, you've got rear air vents and seat heating for this second row, plus a 12-volt outlet and power, which means you can plug up kids' things. Up to 150 watt is delivered from there. The Territory was always known for having lots of space in the boot. This thing delivers and it exceeds the Territory despite the fact it looks smaller from the outside. It has 602 litres of cargo capacity compared to the Territory, which was under 550 litres. And you drop these 2 seats down and it expands to over 1700 litres, and it's got a power tailgate as well. Safety conscious parents will love this. Inflatable seat belt. If you're involved in a side impact, this will inflate to give you that extra bit of protection. If you're buying this thing for your family, you're going to love the amount of storage inside this cabin. Top of the dashboard, you have a cubby there for your wallet. You also have this section here to store your phone. Also has 2 USB connectivity points. Behind the dashboard, you've got a secret cubby where you can put even more stuff with a 12-volt outlet near the passenger's feet. Over here, glove box, huge, but the thing that has blown me away is this center console. Crack the top open and you have storage for coins, keys, and whatever. Get that out of the way, and this is one of the deepest center consoles I've ever seen. Watch this. There goes my hand, and then I can even go forwards as well. It just disappears into sight. You've got 2 cup holders as well. Now, in terms of infotainment, Sync 3 comes standard in the Edge, and this is a cracking infotainment system. If you haven't used it before, it comes with features like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It also has DAB+ digital radio, and all of your climate controls and messaging functions are in here. It also has the 360 camera that you activate using the simple push of a button. In terms of the driver's tacho cluster, it is an impressive thing. You've got a central speedo and then 2 screens flanked on either side. So it's a bit like the Ford Ranger in that respect, but there are some Edge models that come with a full 12-inch LCD screen, similar to Audi's virtual cockpit. Drivers are going to love the fact that they have excellent visibility out the front with ease of seeing the sides of the car. You also have great visibility out the sides and decent sized mirrors as well, with good visibility out the rear. The Ford Edge is called the Ford Edge in the US, but when it lands in Australia, it's going to be called the Ford Endura. And why did they decide to do that? It seems strange. Well, it's not so strange when you consider that Toyota owns the Edge trademark in Australia, and they wanted a stack of cash for Ford to take it over. And as you can imagine, Ford wasn't all that interested in giving away money. So they've gone with Endura instead, and it meets that goal of having all SUVs with the E name. And it will arrive in Australia in 2018 after this car gets a facelift here. Pricing and specs haven't been confirmed for Australia yet, but we're expecting it to start from around $49,000 and go all the way up to about 75 grand. But that kind of money is going to get you a stack of features like this model, for example, here. Features heated steering wheel, heated second row, Sync 3 connectivity, you get a 360 camera. It's absolutely jam-packed with features, so that price tag will give you a host of great tech. On the powertrain front, Ford Australia hasn't confirmed the engine details, but we do know that it's going to be a 2-litre diesel and it'll be exclusively mated to all-wheel drive across the range. And we're expecting power outputs of about 140 kilowatts of power and 400 newton meters of torque. That engine is available in other markets at the moment with an 8-speed auto, but when it gets to Oz, it's likely to pick up the 10-speed auto co-developed with GM. But the car that we're driving here is a cracker. 2.7-litre turbocharged petrol V6, 272 kilowatts of power, and you sink the boot in, it literally pins you to the seat. In terms of handling, this car is really impressive. The Territory was always a sure-footed car, but this takes it to the next level. This sport model is riding on 21-inch wheels, and the ride is fairly compliant despite the fact some of these LA roads are seriously like goat tracks. As the pace picks up a bit, you get to tip it into some bends and have a play with the steering. The steering has a seriously good amount of feel. It's an electrically assisted steering rack, which means you also get features like semi-automatic parking and variable ratio at low speeds. I want to give you an idea of just how quick this thing is, so we're going to come to a full stop here, put it into sport mode and do a 0 to 60 mile an hour run, which is about 100 k's an hour. Listen to that. Sounds seriously good. There's 50 miles an hour and bang, 60. That is seriously quick stuff for what is meant to be an SUV. While the Ford Edge is available as a 7-seater in China, we won't be getting 7 seats in Australia, which is absolutely bizarre because this is meant to be a Territory replacement, and this should be going up against cars like the Kluger, which have powerful V6 engines and 7 seats. So despite the fact that there is a model available with 70mm extra for a third row, we'll be getting ours from Canada, which currently builds Edge for the UK market, but only ever as a 5-seat. We are a huge fan of the Ford Edge, or Ford Endura as it'll be called in Oz, especially with this turbocharged V6 petrol engine. Yes, I know we won't be getting that in Australia, but we'll have to wait till next year to drive the diesel when it finally lands in Oz. But the Edge delivers on practicality, space and also design, which is everything you need from a Territory replacement. Head to caradvice.com to see a full suite of Ford Edge / Endura news, and don't forget to subscribe.